What's up, everybody? If you are in that beginning stage of thinking about buying your first home in Lancaster County, you just stumbled across the perfect video, because today we're going to be discussing some of the biggest mistakes to avoid when buying your first home. My name's Josh. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Elite in Lancaster County, and I help buyers and sellers buy and sell homes in Lancaster County all the time. But I have a real knack for helping first-time home buyers make that dream happen and buy their first home. And if you're thinking about buying your first home, please feel free to reach out to me at this number right here. Shoot me a text. It's the easiest way to get a hold of me, and we'll talk about what you're looking for in your first home. So today we're going to be talking about some of those mistakes to avoid, and you're going to want to stick around because the last one is the most important one out of all of them. So let's jump right into the video. The first mistake to avoid when buying your first home is simply not getting pre-approved in time. I see it time and time again. This is one of those things that buyers are most afraid of. Getting pre-approved seems to be the biggest holdup because there's just so much uncertainty around it. And what happens is these buyers wait to get pre-approved and they want to start touring homes, and then they find one that they really like, and the process is behind the 8 ball at this point. In a competitive market, homes are going under contract in 3 to 4 days, and if you are not ready with that pre-approval, you're going to be behind the 8 ball when it comes time to make an offer. So to give you a scenario, we have a buyer who's in love with a house. They, it matches everything they want. They have a chance to get it. They want to make an offer. There's other offers already on the table, so now you have a timeline to get your offer in. And this buyer is unfortunately not pre-approved at this time. So now they have to go to one of my preferred lenders, which is super easy. With an online mortgage application, you can get it done pretty quickly. But let's just say you have 5 hours to get your offer in. You can get the pre-approval process moving, but they might have questions depending on your financial scenario or your job, whatever it is. You just might not have time to get it fully complete and get that offer in on the home that you love. So a mistake to avoid is not getting pre-approved. The best way to avoid this is by starting the process by getting pre-approved. Talk to your real estate agent, me if you're looking for one in Lancaster County, and get that pre-approval up and running before you ever go look at homes. I promise you this is going to save you a lot of time and heartbreak. The second mistake you're going to want to avoid is one that I sometimes see buyers make, not too often, but if you can avoid this, it's going to really save you from that heartbreak, and that is simply touring homes outside of your price range. This kind of goes hand in hand with having that pre-approval ready. If you don't know what your price range is, it's not best to just go looking at homes. I meet a lot of buyers at open houses, and some of them can't be approved for the open house that they're touring at that time. And while there's nothing wrong with going to an open house, the heartbreak comes in when you're finding through that house that you love all the upgrades, you're loving the quartz countertops, you're loving the fresh paint, and you're realizing that this might not be a house that I can actually afford. And then every house that you're going and seeing in that price range, you're comparing to that one that you can't afford, and it just brings up a lot of heartbreak. So if you can avoid making this mistake, you're going to be more pinpointed on what you can afford and the things that you're going to see in that price range, and not have this unicorn out there that you're searching for. I tell buyers all the time that your first home funds your dream home. Not everybody's in this situation to be able to buy that $600,000 dream home, 4 beds, fenced-in yard, pool, beautiful back patio. Some people are just getting their first home so that they can start building towards that. And with the way the market is today, getting your foot in the door is one of the most important things. So touring homes within your price range and finding that it might be a 5, 7, 8-year home that you live in to be able to build equity in and go and buy that next home, that's the goal. The beautiful thing about real estate is that it's forced savings, and with appreciation, you can go and buy that dream home down the road using this one that you bought that you know you're not going to spend the rest of your life in. And if you started out by touring the beautiful Ritz-Carlton home that you can't afford, it's going to make the home search that much harder and that much more depressing. So avoid making this mistake by not making the first mistake, and get pre-approved before you ever go and start touring homes. The third mistake is simple, and it is the most important. It is not having a plan. This market moves fast. I tell people 2 things all the time. This market is both speed and patience, and those 2 words don't make that much sense in context together, but in this market, they make perfect sense. You gotta have patience that you might miss out on some houses that you really like, but there's one down the street that's just like it. And you gotta have speed that if there's one that you do like, you gotta get into it quick and decide if you're gonna make an offer. And by not having a plan, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. You see, a really great real estate agent is going to develop a plan for what it is that you even want. And then when you've found that criteria of what it is that you want, what is it going to take to get into one of those homes that you do want? And if you're just flying by the seat of your pants thinking this is just going to work out, I promise you, you're going to be up against people who have strategically planned for how they're going to purchase the exact house that you're looking at. So not making a plan is one of the most important mistakes to avoid, because you're going to save yourself some time and energy, and you're going to actually get homes. That plan should be detailed, simple, and repeatable. If you're somebody who cannot sleep at night without having an inspection done in your house, you need to make a plan for how you're going to be able to get a home accepted with an inspection contingency. If you're somebody who would need seller assistance, you need to make a plan for how you're going to create an offer that is good enough that seller assistance will be accepted on that offer. If you're just going into a house hoping it works out, you are not going to get that house. And I have helped a lot of first-time home buyers over the year, and I know that the ones that have a plan and execute that plan are the ones that have success. So sitting down with me and having a plan sounds like a great first step. If you're thinking about buying a home in Lancaster County, I would love to help you. Please feel free to reach out. My details are below. The simplest way to get a hold of me is by text, like I said at the beginning of the video. And if you have any other questions about real estate, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to help, and no question is a dumb question.